And they played a real team and lost.
Yes.
Sorry. To Boise State.
You hate Penn State. I know this.
Well, it's not a hate. It's just they haven't won big games. So once they do it, I'll give them more respect.
That, but I said,
it's not a hate.
It's a fact that last year was his best year.
For sure.
As a coach at Penn State.
But they didn't win a big game is my point.
Again, agreed.
That's all it is.
100%. But he did have a good year. Yes. There's no way to not define what James Franklin did at Penn State last year as a great year. I said earlier that to me, he's Ryan Day this year. They've gone all in. They've given him the resources. They've brought guys back from going to the NFL. Both running backs are back in Katron Allen and the other kid. I mean, they're really, really good in a lot of places. They got a trio of receivers through the portal to give some playmakers there. Nick Singleton and Allen are back. So, again, it's all – and they went and got Jim Knowles, spent the money to bring in a high-dollar defensive coordinator to replace Manny Diaz when he left. So, I mean, or Tom Allen when he left to go to Clemson.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's all in front of them, and you're right. They've got to win big games. I mean, those numbers are well documented, and that's why the pressure's on. If he can't do it, literally, I mean, most rational programs, if Ryan Day wouldn't have been fired after a 10-2 season, but at Ohio State, he would have been fired.
Right.
Without a 12-team playoff last year. I mean, James Franklin, literally, if he doesn't take this roster with all the money spent to new heights and beat some ranked teams and show that they've got that next gear, he might be in trouble, literally, because if without this team, if not this team, then when's it going to happen? That's going to be the argument from ardent Penn State fans. So that's a lot of pressure, just like Ryan Day was under last year. And it's not too dissimilar as we dive into Horns at Half Past. Our Longhorn fans remember when kind of Mac Brown had this label. Coming out of North Carolina and then building Texas from 98 up until 2003 and into 2004 that Mac couldn't beat good teams. He was putting 10 wins on the board, recruiting like crazy, putting guys in the NFL, much better than it was. But, man, you got to get over that hump. And if you can't do it with this talent, and obviously you had to beat a USC that year, which they don't have to do. I just think, Mac Brown proved it, won a national championship. I know Drew Aller's not Vince Young, but at the same time, there's no USC out there that you have to go beat. So James Franklin is that guy for me this year. I don't know who the player is, though. I really don't.
Yeah.
There probably isn't a player that was in a unique circumstance like Arch or like Quinn Ewers last year. It's such a weird deal. But, Mac Brown had to go get it, and Mac Brown almost had another one in 2009 into 10. But, can James Franklin slay the beast and win some big games?
I'll say this with Penn State. Yes, I've shown that I'm not a huge fan. Just because they haven't won the big games, fandom aside, like he's done a good job at Penn State. Now,
good job by every measure other than those big wins.
I don't think his seat's even as hot as what Ryan Day's was last year, not just because of a rivalry game standpoint, but the expectation to win championships at Ohio State is that's the expectation every year. Where Penn State, they want to be at that. I just don't think they're there, and the history shows that's the case. Even if they go 10-2 and don't win the big games they should, he's not going to be fired. He's done a really good job. It's just, can he do a great job? And there's no excuses this year for him, and I'm with you on that. The pressure's for sure on, because this is the year it has to be.
I mean, I know Ohio State is a different brand of crazy as far as their fan base goes. But when rich guys spend a lot of money and it doesn't happen, and they put a big investment into something, opinions can change pretty quickly.
100%.
And say, dude, we may be making a mistake here, but you get mad about it. You're like, man, we spent a lot of money on this roster. We're expecting you to deliver it. That's on you. I mean, gosh, go back 3 seasons ago or 2. It was Jim Harbaugh. Could Jim Harbaugh deliver and beat the big teams and beat Ohio State? And he turned the tide against Ohio State, but win come playoff time. This is what makes these tournaments and these seasons fascinating for me. But let's dive Horns at Half Past. Text at the bottom of the hour.
All right.
Ozzy Osbourne Factor Fiction coming shortly, but here we go. Ryan Day, SEC Media Days yesterday, asked, what's up with this Jeremiah Smith? He's a sophomore now. How's his off-season been? Has he gotten rested on his laurels, trying to kind of smelling the roses? Ryan Day says no way. Let me plug in here. Here we go. We got to do that, and then you can hear Ryan Day.
Bigger and stronger and faster than he was last year. He was at workouts the other day, and Mick constantly says during our warm-ups, he's the first guy every time we run through and we're warming up. The first guy every single time. He's just set such a standard, and you don't need to motivate Jeremiah. And what he did as a freshman speaks for itself. And like you said, he may not be an older guy. He may not be really vocal in terms of his leadership, but what he does on the field speaks for itself. And the work ethic he's brought into this year has been exceptional. And I think that deserves an opportunity to be here today. And that's what.
All right, so that's what somebody asked him why a sophomore is representing your team, and he's like, that's why. His dude's
his production
would have been the first pick of the NFL draft last April, potentially. How good he is, and yeah, he's a monster, man. Same high school as Derek Cooper, of course, who just committed to the Longhorns on Sunday. Shamadad Madonna, but man, this guy was a human highlight reel in high school, and in year one, you could argue on all of that talent, and he became the key reason they won the national championship.
He's Sunday ready. I mean, right away, freshman year. And Texas, think about this. Texas every single season has to see him, right? Because this year you're playing at Ohio State. Next year they come to the crib.
And he's got to come back.
And you could see them again in the playoffs at some point. So, yeah Jeremiah Smith, get used to that name because he's going to be really good for a long time.
Well, speaking of that, I played this last hour on Horns at Half Past, brought to you by Dr. Greg Eckert. This is David Pollack. I've said that Texas will have the number one defense in the country and the most feared defense in the country in 2025. Here's David Pollack from formerly of ESPN. Now he's doing his own thing. He's still doing a great job of it. Former Georgia Bulldog.
Give me all the defense, dude. It's next level. It's great players at every level. Who's the best pass rusher in the country? There's a list of a couple of guys. Colin Simmons is on it. If you want to go best linebacker in the country, there's a list of guys. Anthony Hill's on it. By the way, both of those guys are probably number one on my list. So that kind of gives you an idea. You go to the secondary and the safety positions, dude, same thing. It's got to be fun for Pete Kwiatkowski to have this stuff. The way he runs his system, what Texas has, the experience, the pass rush. Do you worry about defensive tackle a little bit? Man, a little bit, a tiny bit. But this defense is going to eat. They're going to be elite.
All right, agreed. And they just saw Jeremiah Smith in the Cotton Bowl on January 10th, and he didn't have a huge game. It was really that Travion Henderson screen pass that broke loose, and then Will Howard making some big throws, and Emeka Egbuka. Remember, Carnell Tate is back for that Ohio State team, but really everybody else is replaced. Both running backs. They went to West Virginia through the portal to bring in what's going to be their starting running back now. They're rebuilding their offensive line, whereas Texas comes back with a ton of returning players, even though they're young, and 4 new offensive linemen. Ohio State's doing the same. Again, these are programs that reload, and no one like Ohio State. But in game one, a lot of inexperience on that offense, even with Jeremiah Smith. This is where Pete Kwiatkowski and all that talent, just heard David Pollack talking about, have a chance to really get after this offense while it's still trying to find itself and figure it out. And as we said earlier, but bears repeating here in Horns at Half Past in the 7 o'clock hour, when asked about the quarterbacks yesterday, Ryan Day said it has not changed from spring. It's a dead heat. There is no separation between Julian Sayin and Luke Keinholz. Somebody's going to win the job over the 4 weeks of training camp, and somebody's going to start the game, but they don't know who.
It's a great time to catch them. I mean, first game of the year, they don't even get a warm-up game like Michigan did last year. And when they played Fresno State, I was kind of like, ooh, this could be ugly, right? As they warmed up with that, you could tell there was no quarterback play. And that's the thing with Ohio State is this is it. You got to go play against Texas, who is still got new players out there, but not new to the program, right? Like you said, they have been in the program. They've got a lot of guys that have actually made starts. And at every level of the defense, let's call it how it is, you got one of the top positions with Colin Simmons, Ant Hill, and then obviously Michael Taft. So
I think
good time to catch them.
The other thing that's rebuilt for Ohio State is their defensive line.
Right. JTT gone. Sawyer as a linebacker.
More importantly for me, the interior guys.
Right.
I mean, those guys the whole D-line's gone. In Texas took one of those guys that was supposed to be in their rotation in Hero Kanu. He's now a Longhorn through the portal. So, can Texas's offensive line, because Texas brings their whole D-line back. Yeah. I mean, and they added 5 guys in the portal. That's where a rebuilt Ohio State line could be a little bit lesser there, especially with a quarterback who you can get after, and Pete Kwiatkowski can disguise things. I mean, we talked about the disguise coverages where he can bring in the different pass rushing sets, especially in pass rush scenarios. But I think, and again, every Tuesday night I do the On Texas Football Tuesday live stream with Jeff Howe and Rod Babers, and we were talking last night, and Jeff is a former offensive lineman, and he was talking about he doesn't worry about the offensive line. He thinks he has a chance to be better than last year's group because he was down in San Antonio with Coach Sark at the coaches convention, and he said the one player he singled out repeatedly down there was DJ Campbell.
Yeah.
The fifth year, or the senior player at right guard. He said he is, and you could understand this. Jake Majors there for so long, and Hayden Connor and Kelvin Banks, and maybe DJ kind of took a back seat as it was to pertain to leadership. Let those guys lead. No, DJ Campbell is the leader of the offensive line now, and there's not a player at Texas. If you asked who you want to get in a bar fight with, or if somebody takes a cheap shot at Arch, who's coming first?
DJ.
It's DJ Campbell.
I like that.
That's their enforcer. And Trevor Goosby's an elite athlete. Brandon Baker has run the right tackle job, good thing. Talk about this. He's a 5-star kid from Mater Dei who had to compete with Andre Kojo and some other guys to win that right tackle job. They also have Connor Robertson back and Cole Hudson on the interior. This is an experienced O-line that's been in the Texas weight room for 3 and 4 years. They're ready to go. And that offensive line unit has been playing with Arch Manning.
Right, exactly.
In the last 2 years as the second and third team. Ryan Wingo has a great rapport with Arch, as does DeAndre Moore. Jack Endries comes in, and I just think Texas has a huge advantage when it comes to continuity in this game in 38 days. Doesn't mean they'll win it. They got to put a great game plan and go execute it. But the continuity belongs to Texas, much like it did against Alabama 2 years ago and against Michigan last year.
Well, I think with that's great to hear with DJ Campbell specifically. It's his time to take over the leadership role, and he's probably been held back a little bit compared to if he was elsewhere in the country, just how good the O-line was, right? A little bit. That's how I feel about Arch Manning. Like, he wanted to be the guy. He's never been used to sitting, and he did a great job of it, right? But when we see him at media days, how confident he is, the camaraderie he has with this team, this chemistry in general, he's ready to take over, and he's a great vocal leader. You can tell. I mean,
he's ready to.
He's just ready.
Well, he's such an aware person. He knew it needed to be Quinn. He told the story at SEC Media Days, and that he would go and remember when Paul Chryst was an analyst on Sark's staff. He's now moved on, but Paul Chryst, the former Wisconsin coach,
right, yep.
Arch said he used to go in Paul Chryst's office and just vent to him about not just. He's always played. He's a competitor, and he wasn't getting to play, but he wasn't going to say that out loud. And it wasn't like he was mad about it. It's just, man, I want to play. This is hard.
Speaks volumes of his character right there.
Yeah, this is really hard. This is difficult. I want to play. But I know this is Quinn's team, and I know where we're going, and I'm the backup. But yeah, he doesn't mean he was happy about it, and we've heard he's the most competitive player on the team from Michael Taft.
Right.
So he's bringing that now and challenging the offense. So I just think they have a ton of continuity where people think they don't, but we'll see. We're closer to it than most.